And to kind of build on that, to what you were saying there, I think real estate brokerage is the perfect example for this entrepreneur versus entrepreneurship that you're bringing up, because I think a lot of people miss something we hit on, that you are a business owner. You're becoming a business owner when you get your license. So what is a real estate firm, right? The firm is where the agent aligns themselves. But the firm, who is the client of the firm? It's not those buyers and sellers that we're talking about out there buying and selling property. It's the business owners. It's the real estate agents and brokers who are using that business as a vehicle, as a platform to run their business within. And so you have kind of a dynamic where it's, I think in a lot of situations, if you look at how it's structured, in the obstacles or ceilings almost that you're referring to, that people hit as they have these ideas and innovations and want to grow and kind of take more control and autonomy with what they're doing, they're seeing a hybrid of that. Because while yes, you are an independent contractor, you are running your own business on this platform, certain companies, certain firms are going to want to have that control. They're going to want to keep you from doing too much that's off of the black and white path that they've laid out. However, there are opportunities. I'd like to think that ours is probably one of the best examples of that. There are some other really good examples from other firms too, but I think ours at EXP is one of the best examples of where that's just not the case, because the alignment is given. So like, for example, one of the big things is our company isn't owned by one person.
Right.
Our company is owned by all of us. And so when you give the ownership to people and you give them that autonomy and the ability to really live out the true entrepreneurship that they want to, they have the ability to make their own brands, to take marketing wherever they want to take an idea and flourish with it. And you know, so if we're referring to our team that we run, if somebody comes to us and says, hey, I want to do this in my business, we're like, awesome. How can we help you? Like, how can we let you, do anything we can to support this idea? Because if you have an idea and it's something that could be fruitful for you or the company or our team or anything, we're behind it. It doesn't matter whose idea it was. And we're certainly not going to try to take credit for it either. You know, we want people to be able to grow into that independence, I guess.
Yeah. And I like the way that EXP is laid out. I mean, I've talked with you guys about kind of the setup with this system before, but I've had a brokerage when I was doing strictly real estate a million years ago. I had a brokerage, I had agents under me, and my biggest kind of drawback was making sure that I had the time to give the agents that were working with me what they needed as far as learning, growing, getting into different types of real estate transactions, whether it be land or just representing buyers or whatever it was, investors. And most brokerages, they just kind of let you go. So it's like you guys are saying, you kind of get thrown to the wolves in some ways. And not only that, but then it's like, if someone asks me, should I join, XYZ firm? And I'm like, here are the things to look at. And it's, what are they taking from your commission? Because you're working a lot. Again, they're going to stand on your back and take that piece without having to do much at some point. What is your desk fee? What kind of services and training are you getting from the things that you're paying back to this brokerage? And then what's the connection going to be? I mean, you got to have a mentor in anything. And I've gone down that road of like loneliness because I've, stubbornly probably learned everything on my own. Didn't really have a whole lot of mentors as I moved forward in my careers, but you got to make sure you have that, especially in real estate. And you guys, I think, are doing a great job with that. And the way that EXP is set up allows for you guys to be able to just go ahead and just turn around and just be focused on all the agents that are getting into this business and making sure you're there to kind of like help them move forward, because that business will, what's the average, broker, as far as like a career? Is it like less than a year? I think at this point, like you get in and you make
within 5 years, 87% are out.
Yeah, there you go. So they're gone within, and there's such a cycle of just turnover. And I even saw that, just having my brokerage, and it was even with the connection I had, it's not for everybody. But my point with that is the way EXP is set up, it allows you to feel like, one, yeah, you're part of the ownership of the company. It's not like one person standing down and just talking to everybody. Everyone feels like they're connected, and it allows you guys to basically go out and just kind of manage people, and give your service back from what.
Not manage, baby, develop
Manage,
people.
Develop. Yes. Yes. I like that. And that's what's important. I think that's what works. And we've talked about it before. It's the one thing I think that allows for success with people. And, I think people get broken down when they don't feel like they have that. I mean, in life in general, but I think it's so important you guys are being able to do that. And I like that setup. So when people ask me, I'm like, well, I've never been part of that, but I think EXP is set up really well to be able to deliver those concepts. And I think way better than any other huge brokerage that I know of. And I think it's really cool you guys are able to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it just comes down to what incentives, like the alignment, what incentives, like does any real estate agent within a company, any firm have to go out and help any other agent that's in that firm?
Mm-hmm, exactly.
Like how does that help them at all?
Right.
Like there's people with great hearts out there that will do that, but very few.
And I think that's what I was trying to set up. It's, you know, if you want to become a real estate agent, you go, you get your license, and you got to hang it somewhere, right? And that's what you guys are, right? So I was like, let's get the basic definition of what the firm is, right? And then you guys support through the firm, whether that's through marketing, advertising, coaching, mentorship, right? Because that first transaction, there's a lot of paperwork, there's a lot of rules, there's a lot of laws, and it's good to have somebody that you hang your license with, that you can defer with, that can counsel you, that can advise you and help you get going and develop your career. And that's really what the real estate firm is, right? That's what it is. So when I was asking, like, what makes you guys different, I think you guys have kind of expertly answered it. It's, well, we're not just going to try to acquire everybody and make money off of the backs of everybody through attrition. The more brokers that we're going to have all this turnover, and our job is really just to make sure that we keep this pipeline of real estate agents coming through, and we'll just try to make whatever money we can off of them while they're here. And it's more of, no, this is going to be a place where you can build a career. We're going to support that. We're going to encourage that. We're going to provide resources for you. And we're going to give some ownership to the firm to you guys. And if you want to make a career out of it, this is a good place to either do it or try to do it. Does that sound about right?
It doesn't sound like you said anything wrong there.
Okay. Yeah. So I would love to talk to you guys a little bit about how you do that. First, let me ask you guys have said that they own part of the firm. Is that ideologically they own part of it, or do they actually make money off of the success of other, like, is it like think of like going back to the restaurant days where it's tip pulling? Like, how does that work with you guys?
Talk about the EXP setup, because it's pretty cool, actually.
So the biggest thing as far as ownership goes is that we are a publicly traded company. It was launched with the idea of creating a public stock that people could be given shares in to have ownership in the company. Whereas a lot of companies will go public with the intention of raising capital. That was not the purpose at all with this. It was to give the people ownership in the sense that we're talking about. So we're publicly traded. We were uplisted to the NASDAQ in, I believe, 2018, part of the Russell 2000. So as people, like if you've ever come to our company, aligned and affiliated with our firm, and closed at least one transaction, you have some sort of shares of ownership that are awarded to you. And there's multiple ways that happens. But yeah, it's through a publicly traded stock. So it's not like a little thank you card that, hey, guess what, you're an owner. No, it's real, it's tangible. It's something that
idea come up. Go ahead. Sorry, Tyler.
Yeah. So at most, I mean, traditionally speaking, in real estate brokerage, I mean, you're going to get compensated on your commissions, and we are too here. That's the way we're paid in our industry. And now, if you hit milestones at companies traditionally, you're usually maybe you get a plaque. Maybe they put you on a list saying you're the top producer or whatever. There's some recognition to it, but not really any monetary value out of it. You might get a Starbucks gift card if you're lucky. But part of the business model with EXP is they're awarding agents actual shares of ownership in this publicly traded company based on the productivity. So whether that productivity is you close your first transaction, or you hit your cap, or a couple other things that are pretty significant that are possible as well. It's just every single year, based on how productive you are actually acquiring more shares of ownership in the company, which, by the way, the company is not just the realty brokerage firm. It's a holding company that owns that and several other companies, that are relevant to what we do as real estate professionals. So that's something pretty exciting. But bottom line is, it gives the agent something to show. after all this time, blood, sweat, and tears and years that they're going to pour into their business, earning those commissions, closing deals. Because what happens, is you always have to go on and get another commission. The idea here is that over the course of time, you will have something built up on the back end to show that's going to be something of value, when otherwise all you would have is your next deal. It's making the agents owners and giving them a piece of that upside that traditionally only a very tiny portion of people have even had, because you'd have to be one of the owners of the brokerage.
And I think it plays more than just a role in people's personal bank accounts as they look back on what have they done and what do they have to show for it. Because when you look at, again, just your traditional real estate business, you've got something that's local. And so you've got maybe somebody in the office who's closing 100 transactions a year, and then somebody who's brand new to the industry. Well, why would that person closing 100 transactions give that other new agent any of their secrets? Because if they go R&D, rip off and duplicate it.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah.
Now they just took food off of their table, out of their kids' mouths. Whereas with ownership, if that person does that, maybe they don't earn that immediate commission. But if that person wins, whether they're in their local market or halfway around the globe, because we're operating in 18 different countries today, that we all win together. We all, that tide rises all ships.